Hey there, welcome to the Jeff and Heidi Show, where you're going to have the opportunity to listen to and learn from everyday entrepreneurs. All right, welcome to the Jeff and Heidi Show. I'm Jeff Heggie of Jeff Heggie Coaching, and I have my co-host Heidi Anderson of ECI Secure Pay with me. We are excited today to have Anna Liebel with us, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but I'm going to give you a quick bio of Anna, and then I'm going to let her tell more about herself. So as a mind shifter, she helps male leaders get out of their firefighter mode to become more proactive leaders that they want to be and enjoy the ride as they go. So Anna, tell me more about what that is.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, Heidi. And Jeff, you've done a good job with the pronunciation of the name. So good, high points for that.
Thank you.
And talking about what I do is, you described it a bit. It's really about changing the way how the leaders think and thus behave. But it's a very lengthy process, transformational process, which we try to create this kind of 1 degree shifts that when the ship derails 1 degree, it's not noticed. But the further you go, the bigger the difference from your original course is. And that is what happens quite often with the leaders in a negative way. They kind of start derailing from their inner alignment, from their values, the core values that they really believe in, and that best version of themselves that they want to become. And what we are doing with them, we are bringing that ship back to the course, really finding that North Star and finding the strategies and learning the best practices that will keep the ship going on the right track.
So what motivated you to do this? I mean, there's to work specifically with men in this regard?
It's been a lengthy process, Heidi. And actually, when I started focusing on the corporate clients, I decided that I will work with the female managers in IT or tech, because that's my background myself. I used to be a project manager in engineering companies, and I know the struggles, I know the journey, and I wanted to support the others who are following the journey. But the more I was conversing with the decision makers and people who hold the power within organizations, the more I realized I'm talking to men. And we're not talking about the issues and the challenges that their female employees are having, but rather talking about their own challenges. And long story short, I just realized that, okay, it's time to actually tap into my talent and natural gift of creating a safe space for people to open up, to start exploring themselves, this space that is completely non-judgmental and where I, in a very loving and caring way, can call people out, mirror their behavior so that they see it in a clear way, and also give the tools that actually can help them to change the behaviors that they want to shift and change.
So on that shift, explain to us what you mean by mind shifter.
It actually is a term that one of the career coaches I worked with has coined for me. I have been playing with the different words, coach, consultant, but none of them has really landed. And I didn't feel like I'm doing either of those. And I felt like I was also doing a disservice to those words in the professions. By using those words, because I'm a bit of unconventional in my practices, let's say that way. If we talk about a conventional coaching, conventional consultancy, it was a mix of too many things. And when I had the session with a job coach or career coach, she was trying to fish that out of me, like, what are you doing? What kind of change are you creating? What is your impact? What is your legacy? And I was just using those words, and she was like, no. And she almost got angry, like, you are a mind shifter. You come into the room and you really speak, or you ask the questions, and people's mental roof of their head shifts, and then they need to realign the whole body to that. So she, with that, kind of brought me to the realization, like, okay, this is what I'm creating. It's really this kind of conversation that has very long-term effects. Sometimes it's not really noticed in the room and in the conversation that some shift has happened, but it works. Again, this 1 degree of the course change that really is shown in the long term.
When did you realize you had this gift? If you're working in IT, was it before that, or was it as a child, or is this something that's developed as an adult?
It's been a couple of situations and phases to realization, let's say it that way, Heidi. So one of the pivotal moments for me to realize that it's a gift instead of a curse was in a conversation with a student friend of mine. It was one of those many people who would come to me and share something very deep and maybe some traumatic experience. And I was standing there and saying, I don't know what to do with this. I feel for you. I would like to help you somehow, but I don't know how I can help you. Like, this is something that goes back 10, 15 years. And why are you sharing this with me? And he looked at me like I was almost an idiot. Said, like, Anna, I've never talked about this. And just being able to speak about that is a huge relief already. And that shifted my mind from thinking that it's a curse that people come to me and open up their hearts and minds and like want to just use this safe space, that it's not, it's really something that I can help people with, and that is already help by itself. So that was back in 2010 or 11. And since then, it's been a couple of those situations as well, when just really reflecting on what's going on, what kind of conversations I'm having, what are the effects, what are people writing to me month and month after our conversation, like, hey, this is what's happening in my life after that. This is what I've shifted. This is what I've changed. These are the results. All those kind of small bits and pieces, they came together. And it was around March this year, 2021, that I realized, like, okay, I really need to tap into that on a serious level, because there is a huge gap. Male leaders are the majority at the moment, and they are so underserved. They're hearing all the information about how good leadership is about empathy, about vulnerability, and so on. And they want to be good leaders for their people, but they have no clue how to do it. They were never taught about that. They were never brought up that way. And this is what we create. We create the space where they can start exploring and shifting the things that actually make their performance, their high performance, sustainable, because they don't burn themselves out while acting out of alignment.
That's interesting how many realms this covers, because I was just having a conversation on Thursday with he's an NFL player, and we were talking about some of the things I talk with in my Confident Athlete program. And he says, as an NFL athlete, we're big, tough athletes. We still have things we need to talk to someone about, but it's hard. And so it's just like you're talking about these male leaders, they need someone like you that they can open up to, ask questions, and really understand what everything in their head means. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a great thing that you're doing.
Thank you.
How did you develop the tools that you said you bring some tools to them to help them? How did you develop those tools?
Quite a lot of that is not invited by me. It's like, I just don't feel like I need to reinvent the wheel. And I'm taking the best practices of the world, wide range of tools from the cognitive behavior therapy, psychology, high performance studies, and entrepreneurship, and many other fields. So we also pick some things from the neuroscience and also NLP sometimes. I pay a lot of attention to the words because they matter. The things that you say to yourself, they become the self-fulfilling prophecy. So sometimes I just really need to bang that into the heads of my clients. Like, now you said I have to, or I don't have time to. This is your choice. And just by starting to say it differently, they start making different choices. They start prioritizing differently. So it's really I don't know whether you know the term smorgasbord. So when you pick the things, and that's what I do with my clients. I don't have a set curriculum that I go through with every client. Rather, pick the things that I feel like they need it right now in this situation, on this phase of their development. And the only tool that I actually use with every single client is a daily reflection in a structured way. So they have to write down answers to 3 or 4 questions, depending on where they are on their journey in the end of the day, so that they can keep having those check-ins with themselves. What's going on? What is good? What is not good? What can I change?
So do you do most of your coaching virtually?
Yeah, actually I do. And it was already before COVID like that. So when the pandemic hit, it wasn't a big change for me. It was just restructuring with a couple of clients here in Iceland. But because my clients are international, so far it's only been in Europe. I haven't been on your continent so far as a coach or a mindshifter. So I just had to do it virtually, and nowadays it's still on and off, even with Icelandic clients. Sometimes when they're in a more
That's actually why I wanted to ask, just so who your target client is. So if someone is listening thinking this is someone I need to talk to, I just wanted to, we haven't mentioned it, you just did. She's in Iceland, but that's why I assumed you did virtual services, so that if someone listening that's not there can still reach out to you, and we'll make sure to get you to share all your contact information at the end as well. So going from that, I mean, we've kind of talked about who you're serving, but give us some more details on who your ideal client is, just so if any of our listeners are thinking, you know what, this is someone I need to talk to, describe them.
If we talk about those measurement things, my clients are high performers and they like the numbers and statistics. So quite often it is a person in late 30s to early 50s, male. They work in leadership positions, official leadership positions. I believe that everyone is a leader, and we can talk more about that, but my clients do have some leadership positions in their job title, and they quite often work in tech. It can be a startup founder or CEO who took over from the founder, but it could also be somewhere in the corporate. And I haven't worked so far with the big corporations. My sweet spot is somewhere up till 300, 350 people in the company and leading organizations like that. And if we talk about more psychological avatar or description, it is really about this misalignment that from outside, you're seen as a high performer who does it all, who gets it all done and in a good way. But within yourself, you're just losing this connection to your emotions. You're becoming numb. And it's sad for you to see that. And if you feel like it shouldn't be this way, and you are getting tired of that rat race, whenever you achieve something, you don't even take a millisecond to celebrate or to acknowledge yourself. You just directly look at the next finish line and set your goal higher and bigger and somehow bolder. And you're tired of that. And you feel like, I've crossed so many finish lines and none of them have brought any sense of satisfaction, achievement, and joy. There must be some different way. That's what we work on.
Okay. Now, so we've got a wide range of an audience, and we want to make sure that anyone that might utilize your service is going to be able to reach out to you and understand more of what you do. But we also have the aspect of our audience that are entrepreneurs, coaches, whatnot. So for that side of the audience, how is it that you go about finding your clients?
It so far has been personal network in the beginning. So first of my paying clients have been somehow ex-colleagues or friends of friends who just got to talk to me at some party and I really like how you think. Can you teach me that? So the beginning has been like that when I started my company officially. And nowadays it's quite a lot of LinkedIn. So I connect with people. I just really look for people with whom I resonate, whose companies I really enjoy following in their journeys, and I see potential in them. And I just want to support them. So it's been a lot of reach out through LinkedIn and start creating connections. And quite a lot of reach out hasn't been with the purpose of selling. It's what I'm a connector naturally. And it's another power that, talking about your question earlier, Heidi, how I learned to tap into my gift of creating the safe space. That's another power that I'm learning to tap into right now as a business owner, but it really comes naturally to me to connect the dots between the people. So I really love networking, connecting with people, getting on a Zoom call, or if possible, for a walk or a coffee cup somewhere, so that I just learn about the person and see what their needs are. And if I can serve them with my services, amazing. But if it's not the case, but I see someone else in my network who could help them somehow, or they could collaborate, I'm more than happy to make introductions as well.
That's something that is amazing, that I think has been really exposed during the pandemic, is the power of connectors. You know, the person. So I was introduced to someone about a year ago that she's from North Carolina, and she's just an amazing lady. And I finally, a couple of weeks ago, sat down and started writing out the people she's connected me to that are like powerful connections, and it's over 20. But in addition to that, in fact, the person that I just got off the call before we got this call, someone that she connected me to, he connected me to this person. And so it's such a spider web that spreads out. And so, and you know, when you are a connector like that, you are of such value. And so there's so much value in being that person, not only for the people that are being connected, but you know, I would bend over backwards for this lady for what she's done for me. And so that there's so much power in being that connector. Now you mentioned something that I would like to hear you talk more about, is who leaders are.
Yeah, as I said, that I believe that every one of us are leaders. And before I go into that, I actually wanted to make a note about the power of connections, that what you just said, Jeff. Yeah. I really appreciated you saying that, because as I said, I haven't seen that as a power, or because it comes so natural to me. I never questioned that. And I always shied away from that. And I felt like, okay, but my value should be my value or my services. It shouldn't be related to my network. So just this Monday, so yesterday, I had a conversation with one of my mentors, and I said about that, like I'm afraid that if I connect people with too many other people, I devalue myself as a mind shifter. So I just really want to be very open about that. You see it as clearly a power. I have lived with it for decades, and I'm just learning that, oh yeah, it is a power actually. And it just brings me pure joy. That's why I've been doing it naturally. But yeah, it is something that not everyone can do. And that's the beauty of this personal development journey, that we need to tap into, okay, what comes naturally to us that not necessarily is natural to the other people, and how can we leverage it for our own sake, for our own pleasure and joy, but also the creating the impact that we want to see in the world.
That's kind of like what you put out in the world is what you get back, right? So you're serving people, you're bringing them what's going to help them. It's going to come back around, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, Zig Ziglar said, you can get anything you want in life if you help enough people get what they want.
Right.
And so I think it's the law of reciprocity. You make a connection, those people have that they owe it to you. Or at least they feel that way. And so I think there's a lot, I really value that.
Yeah, it's a fun world for me to see from a different perspective nowadays, and from a new perspective.
Yeah.
Going back to your question about the leadership, I usually talk about leadership as a three-dimensional, and that analogy came to me during our virtual times. So I was thinking about it. I was getting a lot of questions from the clients and my audience about how do we lead people in this virtual reality when we have to just talk on the screen or on the phone, through the screen or on the phone all the time. How do I create that reciprocity? How do I nurture my relationships with people? And I thought about it, like leadership is still three-dimensional. It has the volume. It's not, that didn't become somehow flat just because we went home and started working from home. And those three dimensions that I talk about is leading in the dimension of one to many, when you have a whole team or a group of people whom you try to unite and bring together on board to reach a common goal. It's the dimension of one to one, when you create relationships with one person at a time, and the dimension of one, which is leadership of self. And even if you skip the first dimension and talk about the other two, everyone is a leader. We all can be leaders of ourselves and should be. And we also all have some relationships where we can be a leader, be it in our family, with our friends, in our community, and so on. So I think it's very important to really broaden our perspective about who is a leader and what kind of responsibilities we all have in the communities.
Right. No, that's. Go ahead, Heidi.
Oh, I was going to say, did you say in the beginning that you have a podcast?
I do.
Tell me about your podcast. Who do you talk to, and what do you talk about?
It's called Genius Leadership, Overcoming Everything, and it's on all major platforms for now. And I have both entrepreneurial leaders and coaches and researchers, people who can bring different perspectives to leadership. Talking about this three dimension, I really want to broaden perspectives of our audience. That's why I bring different people. And what I've started doing recently is creating themes. So the first theme was, for example, leading yourself. or knowing yourself. And there I would do a solo episode introducing the topic, explaining why I think it's important for being a genius leader. And then I bring 4 guests. So it's 4 episodes with different people who can bring different perspectives, different backgrounds, maybe some various industries or various ways of working with this topic together. And just the one that is going on right now is the hypergrowth, leading sustainably through hypergrowth. So when the company hits that period in their life, when in their operations, when they really attaining a lot of customers, they're getting more revenues and so on, how they lead successfully through that stage, and how can they prepare before they have gotten to that period.
Okay, cool. Now tell us again, that was Genius Leadership is what it's called? Okay.
Yes, correct.
And I'm going to make sure that in the show notes we have all your links, but share more with us how people find you, how people follow you, because you're offering some valuable information.
Thank you for the opportunity to share that, Jeff. So I am on LinkedIn, as I said earlier, and that's the easiest way to reach out to me. I am quite present there almost daily. And if we talk about free content, it's one of the ways of following me on LinkedIn, where I do weekly lives on some topic that I see as a common thread, as some kind of pattern that my clients, leaders are going through at the moment, and how you can work through that with strategies and different tools and best practices. Then also there is the Genius Leadership podcast. You can also subscribe to my newsletter. Just drop me a line on LinkedIn. It's probably the easiest way to do it, so that I can add you to that. And every Friday, I again share some bits of knowledge. And I also do strategy calls. That's the way of trying out my way of mind shifting, where we really dive deep into the answers that you need to answer the questions before about different parts of your life, your challenges, your goals, what you have tried before, what has worked and what not. We'll really go through that and identifying some pain points, some gaps, and build a strategy how you can work on those things in the coming couple of months.
So if someone is interested in getting on a strategy call, is the best way to connect through LinkedIn?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, in my about section, there is a link there, so you can book it directly. You don't even need to go in the DMs with me. But yeah, we'll have to have a conversation sooner or later, one-to-one. So why not just dropping me a line first?
Okay, perfect. And yeah, like I said, I've got your LinkedIn, your website, your Twitter, Instagram, all that. I am going to make sure to have those included in the show notes. And so anyone that's listening that wants to touch base with Anna will be able to find it there and connect.
I appreciate that.
Anything else, Heidi, that you had questions?
No, I don't think so. That's really interesting.
Absolutely. No, I think there's so much value you're offering and adding to people. This is really amazing. So thank you for that. And thank you for being with us.
I appreciate the opportunity, Heidi.
Thank you, Anna.
I'm looking for entrepreneurs, athletes, coaches, and other high achievers who want to discover their full potential. Those that have dreams and desires of getting to the next level and just need to figure out how to get there. Hi, my name is Jeff Heggie. I'm a success coach, and I want to show you the truth about developing a powerful mindset. One of the biggest things holding people back from achieving their dreams is their own limiting beliefs. And the bad thing about limiting beliefs is they prevent you from discovering your true potential and cause you to settle for way less than you really deserve. I've seen this time and again in business, athletics, all areas of life. And worst of all, many people never get past the idea that achieving their biggest dreams in life is just that, a dream. But luckily, now there's a solution for this problem. So if you're an entrepreneur, athlete, coach, or other high achiever that really wants to get to the next level, but it just hasn't happened yet, here's the solution you've been looking for. I want to introduce you to High Achievers Mindset Secrets. High Achievers Mindset Secrets is designed to help you gain control of your future, become absolutely clear on your goals and how you're going to achieve them, discover the true potential of what you have within yourself, and live every day with confidence. Intentionally live the life you desire, and much, much more. From day one, you'll be able to start implementing the strategies that will bring results into your life. High Achievers Mindset Secrets is designed specifically to meet your needs, and there's 3 options for you to choose from. First of all, there's the 6-module course. Over the course of these 6 modules, you'll learn the momentum cycle, the success cycle, and how to make them work in your favor. How to build confidence and self-belief. You'll learn to create clear goals, understand what you need to do to achieve them, and most importantly, you'll discover your why for each one. And I'll tell you now, it's not what you think. You'll learn the power of mindset questions, visualization, and having a vivid vision. You'll learn the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset and how you can change it. You'll understand the importance of proximity as power. You'll create personal development habits that lead to success. You'll create your own personal success formula. You'll also learn the connection of mindset and mental health, the importance of state modeling and mindfulness, and so much more. The second option is the Academy. In the Academy, you get the full 6-module course, plus some specific, specialized one-on-one coaching. In the team program, it's designed for athletic teams, sales teams, executive teams, any team that wants to maximize its potential. Each person on the team will go through the 6-module course, and then there'll be some group coaching specifically with me. So again, if you're an entrepreneur, athlete, coach, or any other high achiever that really wants to get to the next level and you're committed to making it happen, you know every day counts. You deserve to be living the life that you want on your rules. You deserve to achieve those dreams, start that business, win that championship, get recruited, whatever that is that you desire. There's never been a better time in history to make a change and take charge of your future. You work hard, you want it bad, you're committed to making it happen. Let's do it now. So get on board with the High Achievers Mindset Secrets, because I look forward to working with you.
Get more details at mindset.jeffheggie.com.